Most days it's half full. I have days where I look and I feel like it's half empty, but that's just being really honest, just because it's hard.
Since the early 90s, there's been a large body of research that clearly defines a set group of emotions that teachers go through during their first year. It starts out very positive in a phase called anticipation, and then teachers go through what is really likened to an emotional roller coaster, and they go and take the dips and the highs of the emotional side of teaching through phases such as survival and disillusionment. However, what is important to that information is to know that the emotional roller coaster takes a turn and does head back up, and that the teaching experience becomes very positive.
Recently I had a pretty stressful week and felt like things were out of my control, out of my hands, and any teacher can tell you that's not a good feeling. My tough week was a combination of not feeling well, which, you know, if you're not feeling well, you should get a sub, but I feel like I lose so much time with a sub. It's a day week I have to go back and review and redo, and being controlling and being a teacher, I would rather be here and try to, you know, keep that time. So I wasn't feeling well. I had some personality clashing in the room. I had some things happening outside of the room, you know, in places where I wasn't, where I couldn't be to solve problems with my kids. So I think things happened that I could have fixed, but I wasn't there. You know, I feel responsible for things that happen. I feel like, you know, they were out of my control, but I wanted them to be in my control. I had some meetings that were tough last week and just made me really look at things I was doing inside my room. I think I questioned myself on some things, and so when that whole week was through, I was just like, man, I don't want another week like that. That was awful, you know. And I think the worst part was just the questioning myself and, you know, wishing things would have been in my control.
One of the things that new teachers should know when they leave their preparation programs is that there's an abundance of resources and support for them once they're in the classroom. Most school systems provide some mechanism for supporting new teachers, whether through mentor relationships or through support directly in their building or other avenues. But the support is there, and the important thing is that teachers ask for it and they seek it out.
I turned straight to the girls next door and said, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, and just really let it all out. And why is this upsetting me? Why am I so frustrated? Da, da, da. And you know, one of the girls said, isn't it funny how all this, you can't remember last Monday? Because I remember telling one of them, I had such an awesome day today. The kids were on everything was just like, it was like a dream. They were perfect. She's like, isn't it funny how you can't remember that day right now? All you're thinking about is this horrible week and this tough week. And she was like, think about that day. And I was like, it's so hard, but I did. And that made me feel a little bit better. And just to know that this is part of the job. I'm going to have weeks like this. I'm going to have days like that. It just comes with the job. You can't, when you have 20 kids, you can't mope around on what you've made a mistake on or something that you've not done well. Because you've got to get these kids still going forward. You know, you can't. What you do affects them. Everything you do affects them. So I'll be so glad when all these firsts are done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll be so glad when, you know what I mean, like academically, when I can say, I did that kit last year, that did not work. We're doing it this way. I'm going to give it to them this way, and then we're going to do and then with the situations I had last week, it's going to be over with. And everybody's going to be okay. You know, I survived it. I'm here. It's Monday. And I still have a job and everything's fine. You know, like, I think if it happens again, I'll be less emotional, or I'll be more confident. I think it just takes time and experience and more challenges and more bad weeks to make you a good teacher.